Hi guys, welcome back to Practically Creative. My name is Melissa. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. We're going to be working on some applique today, and this is still part of our holiday hop for 2023 that I'm doing with my friend Sylvia at UNME Today's block is going to be a reindeer, and here's our picture. I'll put a link. This is a free coloring page that's available online, and I'm going to use it to create a reindeer for myself. Now, I've done several different methods of applique on my channel in the past, and I'm going to do a slightly different one today, just so that I can show you something different today. So the first thing we're going to do is I have my background piece cut out, and I'm going to lay it over here to the side. And then I want to cut out antlers for my deer, and I need to do something that's big enough so that it will do both parts of the antlers. And what I'm going to do do your scissors walk away every time you want to sit down and do something? I'm going to take my piece of paper and I'm going to cut the antler part off of here. Just so that I can go ahead and get that traced out onto my fabric. You could draw this off onto another piece of paper if you wanted to, and I actually considered that idea and then decided that no, I would do it this way because it's a little easier for most people to see. Okay, so here is my little antlers, and I think this is the fabric that my antlers are going to be made from. And in case you don't know me, I'm a scrappy person. I love scrappy quilts, and I like it when things can be made from the littlest scraps that I have left. And then I need pens, so let's grab those. And I'm going to pen my antler pieces to my fabric. And I am going to have to cut them just a tiny bit apart so that I can get the other antler on here. Now you can use any method that you like. I'm going to use putting the paper onto the fabric because that's what works for me right now this minute. But you could do freezer paper. You could trace this onto heat and bond to be able to put it on the back of your applique and put it on the back of your fabric to put it down. If you trace onto heat and bond, just remember that you have to reverse the picture and whenever you're cutting out applique, making sure I've got this up here in the camera so y'all can see, you want to move the fabric and not your scissors. And I'm going to get my smaller scissors to do this, because my big ones just aren't working very well. I don't like the smaller scissors usually because I have arthritis. They're a little tough to hold. But you use whatever pair of scissors you need and whatever works for you. So there's one of my antlers, and then I'm going to cut out the other one pretty much the same way. And this piece is supposed to go underneath the deer, so I'm going to leave a little tail at the bottom end. Make sure you keep your fabric and your paper together. I could have glued this down. I could have printed it onto wax paper. So let me get that up close for you. You can see that I've cut around the outline and I've left a little tiny bit there at the bottom. And I'm laying that down there. Now I don't want to get my pieces all pulled apart from one another. So I want to try to make sure I keep everything together. And I'm looking for, in my little scrap pile over here, a little piece of red for Rudolph's nose, or for my reindeer's nose. I guess it's not necessarily Rudolph. But I'm going to trace around that. You can't see my little circle probably on there, but I'm going to cut around my little circle. And I'm going to do what's called raw edge applique on this today. Raw edge applique just means that I'm going to do straight stitching around it rather than doing like a blanket stitch or any of that. And then I've been debating what color I wanted to make my reindeer. And I think that's not big enough. This really pretty purple. It's not going to be good for my reindeer though. We can have a psychedelic reindeer, right? That's pretty. Alright, so I'm going to cut out some of this paper. From around him. And then I'm going to pin my reindeer down to a piece of fabric. Ow. And I will fast forward this one whenever I start cutting. But I wanted to give you the basic idea of what I'm doing. Once again, you can do it with heat and bond. I could have put this into my Cricut or my brother Scan and Cut. But I wanted to do something that was accessible to people who don't have those machines. And then I'm just going to cut my piece of fabric the size of my reindeer out of my bigger piece, just so I don't have to deal with all of it while I'm cutting. I'm going to put it Okay, so now our deer is cut out. And I'm going to lay it out. This piece of fabric is a little dirty, but it will be okay, because it will be washed. So now I'm going to take my deer. I'm going to lay him down, and then I'm going to pull the pins out. But I'm not getting rid of my pins because I'm going to glue this down. And I may need the pins to help me arrange things. So there's our little reindeer. I think he looks pretty cute so far. And then little round nose goes right up here. Don't want to round that out a little bit more. Didn't realize I could cut a square circle, right? I think it looks cute that his little nose lands right on a red. Okay, and here's the guy that goes underneath. That looks pretty good. I'm not getting rid of my little deer pattern yet. We've still got some more work to do with him. That didn't go where I wanted it to go. It's okay. It will be okay. If you've ever heard me talk about how much I hate glitter, there's two fabrics in this Christmas bin that I'm working out of that are the reason I hate glitter. This one right here is one of them. It only has a little tiny bit of glitter in it, but guarantee you I'll find glitter for a week now because I use this stuff. And I'm just putting little tiny dabs of glue on here. So that I can glue things down. And I probably should have glued the deer down first, or that's what you're all screaming at me. The problem is I needed to glue the antlers down first because I needed them not to be too super high so that I would end up sewing them into the seam allowance. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to put some glue on all the deer. Just a little bit. It looks like I'm putting lots, but there's just little dots of it. And then I'm going to flip our deer back over. Make sure it's laying down where it's supposed to. And put a little dot for his nose right there. Okay, and I've had my iron heating up over here. So we'll bring our little pressing mat over and bring our iron over. Then I'm just going to set the iron down flat just like I would if I was using heat and bond. And I'm going to dry my glue. Okay, now I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and I'm going to do straight line stitching all the way around my applique so that my little deer comes out looking the way I want him to look. So I will take you over to it. I will do it as an ASMR at fast speed for you, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So let's move right now. Okay, so here we are at the sewing machine, and I've got you as close as I can get you in here to be able to see this. We're going to do this at speed, so I won't be talking, but I do want to say a couple of things. First of all, my glue is all dry. There is no more wet glue on this. You don't want to sew through wet glue, ever. Secondly, when you're doing an applique, the best thing to do is to start with the bottom layer first. So I'm going to start right here, just past where my little nose for my reindeer is, and we're going to sew around. I'm going to skip over the top of this and sew the rest of the way around the deer, and then I'll come back and do the antlers and the nose. So here we go. Also, if you're sewing with a machine that has the option to do needle down, it makes it much easier when you're doing applique. much fun was all that? If you prefer to watch ASMR or slower versions, you're more than welcome to do that. You can slow it down by using the settings in the menu at the bottom of the picture. I did speed that up because there are a lot of people who don't want to sit there excuse me, and watch all the long ASMR part. But I know I have quite a few viewers who love the ASMR, so please feel free to enjoy that however you like. And I tried to get it up close enough so you could see. So now this is our completed reindeer block, well, almost completed. I need to go back in and sew that little section, but I neglected to do that while I was filming the ASMR part. I'm sorry. But here's our reindeer block. I like the fabric that I used for him. And I was debating going ahead and putting in his eyes and then the little piece right here for the pink center of his ear. But I really think that the fabric he's made out of is busy enough. So I hope you enjoyed this block and making this block with me. If you're sewing along with us, please let Sylvia and I know. We both have Facebook groups. She shares hers with Quilting in the Country with Lori, and mine is Practically Creative with Melissa. I'm going to put a link to the other Holiday Hop videos up here for you, and I'll put some other videos over here on the side if you want to go check out more of my videos, especially if you're into the ASMR. I have quite a few of those. I also have serger tips and tutorials for making quite a few different blocks from the Quilt Builder card box by C&T Publishing. And I want to wish you all a happy holiday. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.